The second book of Samuel, chapter 17. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David this night. And I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and will make him afraid. And all the people that are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. And I will bring back all the people unto thee. The man whom thou seekest is as if all returned, so all the people shall be in peace. And the saying pleased Absalom well, and all the elders of Israel. Then said Absalom, Call now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he says. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spoke unto him, saying, Ahithophel has spoken after this manner. Shall not we do after his saying? If not, speak thou. And Hushai said unto Absalom, The counsel that Ahithophel has given is not good at this time. For said Hushai, Thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, and they be chafed in their minds as a bear robbed in the whelps of the field. And thy father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people. Behold, he is hid now in some pit, or in some other place, and it will come to pass, when some of them be overthrown at first, that whosoever hears it will say, There is a slaughter among the people that follow Absalom. And he also is valiant, whose heart is at the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt, for all Israel knows that thy father is a mighty man, and they which are with him are valiant men. Therefore I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered into thee, from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand that is by the sea for multitude, and thou that go to battle is thine own person. So shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him, and the dew falls the ground. And of him and of all the men that are with him there shall not be left so much as one. Moreover, if we be gotten into a city, then shall all Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it into the river, until there not be one small stone found there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, The counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For the Lord has appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, to the intent that the Lord might bring evil upon Absalom. Then said Hushai to Zadok the Abiathar the priest, Thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. And therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, Lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all the people that are with him. Now Jonathan and Ahimahaz stayed in En-rogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and told King David. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom. But they went both of them away quickly, and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had well in his court, whither they went down. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth, and spread ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, Where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, They be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass, after they were departed, that they came up out of the well, and went and told King David, and said unto David, Arise, pass quickly over the water. Thus has Ahithophel counseled against you. Then David arose, and all the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan by the morning light, where lacked not one of them that was not gone over Jordan. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his donkey and arose, and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hung himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son, whose name was Ithra, an Israelite, and went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Joab's mother. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass, when David was come to Mahanaim, that Shobi the son of Nahash from Rabbah, the children of Ammon, and Mashar the son of Amiel of Lo-debar, and Brasilia the Gileadite of Rogelim, brought beds, basins, earthly vessels, wheat, barley, and flour, and parched corn, beans, lentils, and parched pulse, honey, butter, and sheep, cheese of cattle for David, and for the people that were with him to eat. And they said, the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. Chapter 18. And David numbered the people that were with him, and set captains of thousands, captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, a third part under the hand of Abishai, the son of Zerah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai, the Gittite. The king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you also myself. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, and they will not care for us, neither as half of us die will they care for us. But now thou were 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou secure us out of the city. And the king said unto them, What seems you best I will do? And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave the captains charge concerning Absalom. So the people went out into the field against Israel, in the battle in the wood of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. And there was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode up a mule, and the mule went under the thick bogs of a great oak, and his head caught a hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away. And a certain man saw it, and told Joab, and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hung in an oak. And Joab said unto the man, and told him, Behold, thou saw him, and why did thou not smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet I would not put forth mine hand against the king's son. For in our hearing of the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. Otherwise I should have wrought falsehood against mine own life, for there is no matter hid from the king, and thou thyself would have set thyself against me. Then said Joab, I may not wait thus with you. And he took 3 darts in his hands, and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. And the 10 young men that bore Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the woods, and laid a very great heap of stones upon them. And all Israel fled, every one to his tent. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken reared up for himself a pillar, which is in the king's gate. For he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok, Let me now run and bear the king's tidings, how that the Lord has avenged him of his enemies. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear tidings this day, but thou shalt bear tidings another day. But this day shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. Then said Joab to Cushi, Go tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushi bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushi. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? But howsoever, said he, let me run. And he said unto him, Run. Then Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain, and overran Cushi. And David sat between the two gates, and the watchman went up to the roof over the gate unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, a man running alone. And the watchman cried and told the king. And the king said, If he be alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. And the watchman saw another man running, and the watchman called unto the porter and said, Behold, another man running alone. And the king said, He also brings tidings. And the watchman said, Methinks the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. And the king said, He is a good man, and comes with good tidings. And Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord thy God, which has delivered up men that lifted up their hand against my lord the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Ahimaaz answered, When Joab set the king's servant and me thy servant, I saw great tumult, but I knew not what it was. And the king said unto him, Turn aside and stand here. And he turned aside and stood still. And behold, Cushi came, and Cushi said, Tidings, my lord the king, for the Lord has avenged thee this day of all of them that rose up against thee. And the king said unto Cushi, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Cushi answered, The enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise against thee to do thee hurt, be as that young man is. And the king was such moved, he went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, thus he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I have died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son. This is the word of the Lord. Thank you, Lord. I love you with all my heart. In your loving name I pray. Amen.